Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 6, 2021 Mars trans Pluto reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, steady, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Sagittarius be affected by Mars trine Pluto? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the moon, which is Pisces energy. So if we have Pisces within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our root. Then we have the 7 of air, which is us being able to move forward and us being able to leave some things behind and see where the winds take us, see where our mind and our body and our thoughts and our breath brings us and how it guides us. Our emotional energy is the Ace of Cups. There's a cleansing going on, and there's a cleansing that is letting us embrace our hearts more openly and more honestly than before. And then we have the Devil, which is Capricorn energy. If we have Capricorn within our natal chart or we're born on the cusp with Capricorn, this is coming through very powerfully in the public arena. But we're starting to see the traps set for us. And we're also starting to see that which we might judge ourselves very harshly for, which necessarily isn't harsh. It's kind of like, look here, when you have the bobcat eating the rabbit, you think, oh my gosh, that's terrible. But then you think, oh, should the bobcat just starve, you know? So what we see within ourselves, and we could sit there and think, oh wow, this is a really bad thing that I have done, or this is really bad about me. And we need to step back and say, is this who I am? You know, is this neurologically who I am? Am I not neurologically normal? Am I, different when I see certain things? This isn't saying to be cruel or anything like that, or we should make excuses for ourselves. But this is saying that we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves, and we should let ourselves lift the weight off our shoulders, lift the weight of doubt and hurt and fear and negativity. And it really does at our root with the moon. We're looking at things that have made us afraid, that have made us overwhelmed, that have made us doubt ourselves. And it brings us to this place where we have our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. It's the Prince of Pentacles. What we have to be very mindful of is letting money talk for us instead of letting our own wants, desires, hopes, and dreams talk for us. What we have to be mindful of is letting other people's way of judging success talk for us instead of our own decisions. We have to move forward steadily with planting our seeds and looking at what we desire and looking at who we are. But we also have to understand what is important and what isn't. and not let that decision be made up by somebody else or something else. It moves us to our chakra. Ooh, sorry about that. Our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly in its holistic health. Now, this is one of my favorite cards because, yes, I really do love alternative medicine, but it's also saying be holistically you. It is time for us to embrace who we are. This is our root chakra. And it's time for us to look at who we are, what we want, what we desire, where we stand, and open up the door to us and not to everybody else. This is also saying be in tune with your body. Look at walking, look at, barefoot shoes, which is something that I have become obsessed with recently. Getting our bodies in alignment, looking at what foods are good for us and what foods aren't. Maybe not necessarily the ones that people say, oh, these are healthy foods and these aren't, but the foods that make our body feel really, really good and the foods that don't. And so here with our root chakra, we're embracing the root of who we are, and we're embracing the holistic health to move us forward. And this makes perfect sense with Mars trine Pluto, because this is an intense time of focus. So this brings us to a place of a strong will. We are astoundingly strong-willed during this time, which as a fire sign energy, as Sagittarius ourselves, we are already strong-willed. And we have this determination for success. Nobody's going to be able to pull that away from us. We need to make sure that our success and our determination for success is aligned in the right way, in the proper way for where we need to be and what we want to develop. With Mars at this time is going to act on Pluto's evolutionary drive for healing, transformation, and rebuilding. So this is a time where we get to look at ourselves and what we want and say, okay, well, how am I going to embrace healing? How am I going to transform? How am I going to rebuild? And this starts with us looking at our fears, our doubts, our hurts, and our pains. It comes through very profoundly at our root chakra, at our root base right here within the tarot. And then it leads us at our heart to say, well, who am I? How am I healing? How am I embracing my love, my soul, myself, and what I desire? This is an easy time to express our desires, our passions, and our power, but also the power of what we want. Now, this isn't saying to make it all about the ego. This is actually a really good time to take the ego and kind of let it step back and say, okay, what needs to get done and what isn't about me personally, but what's about the emotional prosperity of moving forward and where I stand and how I stand and who I am. This is actually a fantastic time to not be ego-driven, but we can kind of have to be mindful of people being ego-driven during this time, or us thinking, oh, well, this isn't the right way to do it. This is the proper way, and having the ego-drivenness come back, the lower base vibration, because that's where everybody else is vibrating, or that's where so many people are vibrating, and that's where maybe even we've been used to having our vibrational energy come forward in. Now, with this is a brilliant time for change, and this is a brilliant time to focus on who we are, what we want, what we need, what we desire, and realizing our purpose. It helps us to realize our purpose because we're so focused. And our hearts during this time with our root chakra coming in and our soul and ourselves being focused on our holistic health, our prosperity for who we are, what we need, and what we desire from our lives really starts to open up the door. Now, there's an aura around us that amplifies and really helps us express our sensuality, our power, and our passion. And that's going to be something that we need to step into. We need to step into, this is my body, this is myself, this is who I am, and embrace the power of it. Maybe we're not exactly where we want to be. We're not our ideal weight. We're not our ideal height. We're not our ideal whatever. That's fine. We are who we are. And this is a time to embrace loving ourselves. It moves us to the moon. The moon has us facing fears, hurts, pains, disappointments, the shadows, the things that we can't always see as correctly, as right as we want to. And so here when we look at the moon, we look at ourselves. When we look at the moon, we look at the shadows within ourselves that hold us back, that corrupt us, that hurt us. But we also look at those shadows and say, there's an illuminating light of the moon that moves in a cycle of my spiritual awareness, because, we have this ebb and flow of sometimes we're really on and sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're discovering outside of our world, which can be the full moon, and sometimes we're discovering inside our own selves, which can be the new moon, and every phase in between. And so as we embrace our discoveries, our understanding, our power, and our insight, we embrace who we are, what we want, and what we desire being. The moon has us growing, has us becoming. And as we look at the fears that have defined us for too long, we look at where we need to be, who we are, and what we desire from our lives. It moves us to the Seven of Air. And the Seven of Air, the Seven of Swords, brings us to this place. And if you know the Rider-Waite Seven of Swords, it's a person carrying five swords and leaving two behind. This is different. This is saying, where does the air take me? What am I being guided for, pointed for? Embracing what I desire. And this is a time where the doors start to open, where we start to see, what am I carrying? Why am I carrying it? What am I leaving behind? Why am I leaving it behind? What is the sneakiness that is around me? And what is the power that I need to embrace? And we start to embrace what we need and the way that we need to move forward. It brings us to the Ace of Cups. It brings us to this healing, beautiful love. It brings us to a place of peace, of harmony, of beauty, of understanding, and of power. It brings us into ourselves more and more and more. It also brings us to a place of sensitivity. Now, we're going to be so driven during this time that we can see sensitivity as a hindrance. Now, you could be a very sensitive person and see that as a hindrance because we're told we have to be tougher. Now, I know me personally, I'm a very sensitive person, very much, pick up on the energy of everything. And I had seen that as such a curse for so long. But now I'm embracing it and I'm saying, but this is who I am. And it's opening up the door in a way that I never realized. And that's why Spirit is having me share this story, is that this is for those of us who are hypersensitive, who are completely in tuned, or who are becoming in tuned and seeing the world more openly and honestly and needing to step back from the chaos of it all. We are seeing ourselves with power, intuition, purpose, and drive. It's opening up a door that we locked because it was too much. And now we're healing and opening it and saying, but this is the power of my heart. This is the gift that I was born with. This is the beauty that is me. And if we embrace that and say, okay, well, I can be a bit naive because I want to think the best of people. And I can be a bit sensitive because I feel so much. But my heart is astounding. And my soul is beautiful. That becomes a power. And if we see it as a power, but recognize our own shortcomings, wash away the negativity, hurt, pain, disappointment that has weighed us down for so long, that has denied us, we start to step into a power that becomes astounding. And it moves us to the devil. It moves us to being able to kind of come to terms with a part of us that we might have thought was unsavory. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to be gruesome, like the bobcat eating the rabbit. What it means is that it is the part of our being that we need. The bobcat cannot live on eating just grass. It's not a cow. It can't digest it at all. It would wither and die. And what we have to say to ourselves here, what is the part of my soul and myself when I'm focusing on success, when I'm focusing on what I need in my life, when I'm embracing the healing power of Pluto and the transformation of Pluto and the rebuilding of Pluto and the fierceness and the warrior aspect of Mars? What is it that I've denied of myself that is actually one of my greatest strengths, but always felt like a curse? And a curse simply is when people speak negativity over us, when people look at this blessing that we were given and say, well, it doesn't fit in to what a blessing should be. It doesn't fit in to how we should be. And so obviously you're wrong. As long as we come from a place of kindness, respect, love, as long as we embrace the sacred divinity within the world, within ourselves, we see the divine in each person. How could it be wrong? It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and that's the Hierophant. Now, it's very interesting to be mindful of the Hierophant, because what we have to be mindful of is falling too much into traditions. Traditions are important, but if we let ourselves fall into, this is the way it has to be, this is the way I can only be, we lose sight of us. We also need to embrace our sensuality, which if we have Taurian energy, which is what the high priest, the high priest, yes, in the stack, but the Hierophant represents in the tarot, equating to the zodiac. If we embrace the Taurian energy, it's embracing strength and sensuality, which is what Mars trine Pluto is all about. And so here, as we embrace this, as we open up the door to ourselves, as we say, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what I desire, we start to claim strength and a throne we didn't think could be ours. We start to see the power that we have, that we dismissed because we were afraid of it, because we felt too much, because it didn't fit into everybody else's box. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, And that's communication, the third chakra. What we have here is the way that we communicate with ourselves. We have to be open and honest about what we want, about how we move forward, about what we're communicating with our hearts, our souls, our desires, and our being. This is a time where we need to open up the doors. We need to know that when we're communicating with people, we're not just communicating with the words that they're saying. We're communicating with the energy that they're bringing. We're communicating with the, kind of aura that is around them. And if we acknowledge this, we know that we're picking up on a lot more in conversations than it's meant to. If we communicate with ourselves, we start to open up doors because we start to be honest. We start to see possibilities. We start to say, there's more here than meets the eye. Our subconscious rooted energy is judgment. And what I love about this is Anubis. And Anubis judges the hearts of the past. And how he does this is by judging them against a feather. A feather weighs nothing, we all know. A feather is astoundingly light. A heart judged against a feather has to be lighter than the feather for Anubis to let them into paradise. And so here we have to ask ourselves, what is keeping my heart heavy? What is keeping me from rising to new heights, new possibilities, from coming out of the darkness, the hurt, the pain, the base energy vibration, and being able to step into me? It moves us to our subconscious energy, personal energy. And that's the 8 of water. This is taking what we had once thought we would love, taking what we once thought was safe and secure, and realizing it doesn't fit me anymore. And what's more, I don't want it to fit me. I need to move forward. I need to take that risk. I need to go after that dream. The little sea turtles here are making the perilous journey into the ocean. And as they make that journey into the ocean, they are embracing their destinies. But they're also having faith within themselves and taking a risk that most of us would never even dream of taking. Open up the doors. Let yourself move forward. See what happens. It brings us to our subconscious emotional self. And that's the Tower. Because we're healing, we are having ourselves be shaken. We are having ourselves pushed out of our comfort zone to embrace our hearts openly and honestly, succinctly and powerfully. And as we do this, we are going to say to ourselves, there's more here than meets the eye. Divinity is throwing us out of our comfort zone. Now we could just say the world is throwing us out of the comfort zone, and that makes perfect sense. But we are being thrown out of our comfort zone and saying, how are you going to handle this? How are you going to move forward? It can be that our world has fallen apart. Sometimes that's how we're thrown out of our comfort zone. There's a saying, it's not until the fear of where we are surpasses the fear of the unknown that we start to move towards change. And this is that change. It could be something very simple. It could be, you know what, I really don't like working for this person, so I'm going to send out job applications. It could be, you know what, I can't believe nobody's talking about this. I'm going to start talking about it. Making a blog, making a vlog, making a YouTube channel, whatever it is. It's like, I'm going to open up the doors. It doesn't have to be a negative thing, though we usually equate the tower, there we go, to a negative thing. It doesn't have to be. It can be something beautiful, but it's going to be something that's scary. It moves us to our subconscious public self, and we have the Hermit. This is Virgo energy. As we embrace ourselves, as we look at our addictions, our hurts, our pains, our disappointments, as we look at our nature that we thought, oh my gosh, this isn't acceptable, or this makes me weak, and we see, oh no, there's a greater strength here than meets the eye. We need to turn inward. We need to connect. And this has us connecting in the public arena with earth sign energy. We need to be grounded during this time. Look at our prosperity, look at our bounty, look at what we desire, and open up the door. The Hermit says, I need to see me. Not all the noise, not all the obnoxiousness, me. And let that light guide me forward. And that's going to be one of the most important things. This is a time, Sagittarius, where you become clear to you. That's a gift. That's a gift not to pass up. Do not pass up this gift because it is beautiful and it is profound. All right, Sagittarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace this Mars trine Pluto, and as we embrace the power that it gives us. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Sagittarius.